Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Today in St. Louis at 7 a.m. I'm Michelle Lee. We have, and alongside Travis Cummings,
Yes, hi
Paul
everyone.
Cook, Gary Frank. We do have team coverage for you on both sides of the river this morning. Reagan DeTrolio is covering O'Fallon, Missouri. Holden Krawicki is focusing on the Illinois side of the river. And our weather impact meteorologist, Tracy Henson, is out on the roads this morning. But let's get to Gary Frank.
Yeah, very cold air is in store for us here this morning here at 7:03. We continue to monitor the fact that it's extremely cold. Our cold weather alerts are still in place. This morning's lows will be somewhere between 3 and 8 below. Significant cold air is in store for us here. Wind chills between 10 and 25 below. That's why the extreme cold warning is in place for us here this morning. You can see our temperatures have continued to plummet in many regards. We look at Grafton as a great example of how cold it is, but also how the wind remains a factor. You can see that upper level wind does make a difference. A lot of the times when it gets this cold, we don't have any wind, but right now we do, and there is some breeze outside. Temperatures are about as cold as they get around here. 4 below still in St. Louis. We're at 5 below in O'Fallon, Alton as well. Other spots right around 0 or 2 below. Very, very cold air is still in place with us over the next several hours, but it feels like 21 below. And that's about as bad as it gets around here. 21 to 25 below, significant cold air is in place. And a little bit of breeze is making a difference here ahead. Our weather impact alert continues for the next several hours as we look ahead to temperatures that'll still feel like they're around 15 below by 9 a.m. But as we look into the afternoon, temps in the mid-teens. Temps will continue to be on the cold side. I am looking at 3 things this week very specifically. Very cold air with a week below freezing. We're not going to get above freezing at all. Not in the afternoon. We're close-ish to it tomorrow, but not there. And we are going to remain snow-free. So the harder you work to clear off your driveway, if it's more of a thin layer and you get some of the more direct sunlight over the next 2 afternoons, that should stay clear. But in general, it's very cold, and we're going to see a couple of more cold mornings. And that's one of the things that we still continue to monitor and highlight as we talk about the significant cold air that's on the way this week. One thing that we still monitor as the fact that it's extremely cold is the fact that it's going to take a while for the roads to clear up. And I want to check in with Paul here as we've got updates on, overall, it seems like it's been not too bad, but there are some spots that are slowing down. Nothing's fully clear, but, not all that bad right now. And you're showing me one of the bridges.
I do believe people, and 5 on your side viewers, heeded the warning of don't go out there. Really, that's not really worth it today. And that is probably why we don't have major accidents, because we've seen something like this just become very, very dicey. And it's still rough. This is a good example here, Gary. 270 at Riverview, North County. We talked a lot about this yesterday. Areas with already narrow lanes, already dealing with construction that's just all over 55, 70, and 270 in North County going into Spanish Lake. Across the chain of rocks, you've got the construction, you've got the narrow lanes, and people are moving slow. That is good news. But it's that type of thing where you see one lane, it's already narrow, you got one lane and maybe just one little opportunity, one slip up, and you're going to find yourself maybe with a little bit of car damage. The little spots there that have been shoveled are just so hard. I mean, can you believe at the bottom of that screen that it says -4? I mean, it is really crazy. You're going to see flashing lights at 40 and Timberlake Manor. Few incidents here along, but these are just stalls and not major. I mean, we are not seeing red on the map, which would mean you're going slower than 20 miles an hour. I don't know if that's good, but I do know we don't have major incidents. We'll keep our fingers crossed that those things continue, and we'll show you the coverage map of ice and snow the next time we talk in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much. Well, let's get on out to Tracy Henson. She's been giving us a firsthand look at the snowy roads.
That's right. Tracy Henson is actually tracking the conditions right now from the Weather Impact Storm Tracker, so she's really giving us a close view there from those roads. And Tracy, tell us where you are now and what things look like and feel like.
Sure, Travis and Michelle. So I have just made my way past the Bell Fountain Cemetery. There has a water issue that tends to leak out onto the road, and water crews, St. Louis City Water was on site working on that, as well as some crews working to try to get some of that ice off the roadway. But we had to temporarily divert for a minute. These roads are certainly snowy. I wouldn't say they're particularly deep, but it's just kind of an icy covered road. There is some reminders of back in January when the roads were really bumpy just because of icing and refreeze. Now some spots, as you can see, as we get into this little roundabout here, looking pretty good. We've been all over the place, as you've mentioned this morning. We have to say though, we were over on the Illinois side for just a little bit and we didn't like what we saw. The Poplar Street Bridge into Illinois did not look too great. That made me a little nervous, especially because the traffic was starting to pick up and we were starting to see more cars on the roadway there, and there were some people going pretty fast. Poplar Street Bridge was definitely totally covered. The MLK Bridge, that one was also pretty snowy. Beautiful views though over the river this morning. As you can see, as we get onto a more popular road here, we are starting to see a little bit better clearing out here. Earlier, we were also by the airport. I will say Terminal 1, not so great. Terminal 2, though, did look pretty good. And the airport was busy. It's not like people had totally changed all their flights. The airport was certainly busy with people coming and going. And then we were also by pretty much all of the major hospitals here. BJC, we drove by St. Luke's, Mercy, and MOBAP, Missouri Baptist. I almost forgot about that one. We were also down along 44. I think the hardest thing with these road conditions this morning is how quickly they're going to change on you. So you might be driving by at about 55 miles an hour, and then you're going to come across an area where it's completely iced over. This is likely because of the windy conditions we've had. It's been very hard for road crews to keep the snow totally off the roadways out here. Our next stop is going to be Alton, and then after we go to Alton, we're going to make our way back into the city. And I do want to check on in some city street areas that were particularly problematic last year. We're going to go see how Soulard's doing and St. Louis Hills. We still have about 2 hours on the road here until about 9 o'clock. So we are going to keep an eye on how conditions are going out here. We're headed off towards Alton. Like I mentioned earlier, spots I really didn't like. 141, there were some areas, especially near Valley Park, that wasn't great. The Poplar Street Bridge, I would try to avoid that. Take a different bridge if you can. Poplar Street was too busy and too icy. I don't like how that one looks. And we'll keep you updated through the rest of the morning. We're on our way to Alton right now. Up next on deck will be Dogtown, Soulard, and St. Louis Hills.
Right, I like that plan, Tracy. All right, thanks for tracking that progress. Our weather impact coverage continues across the river in Illinois right now.
Yeah, let's get on over to Holden Kerwicki. How's it looking out there, Holden?
Things are looking really good, and it's not just the roads that I want to tell you here. Kenny, I want to show you this real quick. You know, we actually have been bouncing around the Metro East, and I just want to show you, people are not only concerned about, themselves, they're concerned about each other. We're at Cracker Barrel, and the manager actually just brought us out coffee right here. They told us they were very thankful for us being out here, just trying to keep people informed. And, that's one of the fun things about this job is people like that, stepping out to not only, help us as we try and help you, but let's get back over here to the roadways. I just talked to IDOT District 8 Engineer Joe Monroe within the last 5 minutes. And he told me something that I actually noticed with the last few hours. We've got 2 lanes open behind us here on I-64. We're in O'Fallon right now, the O'Fallon-Shiloh area. And that really seemed to extend all the way down really closer into like Fairview Heights, Caseyville, as we get towards St. Louis. So that's good news. The better news here is he told me that we should see the roads continue to improve throughout the day. Now, not only are they really doing that circuitous plowing where they try and run it about every 30 minutes, they run down one of these roads, try and drop that plow, and then also they're trying to drop some salt. That way as the sun comes up, it can really activate the roadway and it keeps it from freezing over. That's been one thing I have also noticed throughout the day is some of the roads, even though they look like they are completely clear, but then the light hits it just right and you can see that black ice, just that little shimmer. That's something that everybody is going to have to be on the lookout for as they get out on the roadways. And really the trouble areas, as you can see right behind us, here's a car coming right now, are the on and off ramps. That's the one area that Joe Monroe, the District 8 engineer with IDOT, was telling me is going to be their biggest problem area throughout the day. So make sure you're just driving slow. If you are on the interstate, go ahead and move over. That way you can allow people some space to get to where they need to be safely. Reporting live in Shiloh, Illinois, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
Smart thinking. And you know what? It's always good when you're out in the field to stop by a place like Cracker Barrel or a gas station so you can get something to eat and drink and take a little break, right?
And you hear the best stories.
I think he was smart. All right, this morning, more than 600 schools and businesses have already been called into our system to either close altogether or start on a delay. That full list is running at the bottom of your screen. Text the word closings to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link to your phone.
And remember, our coverage does not stop when the broadcast ends. We're continuing updates live right now where we are on the free KSDK streaming app. And you can get the app by streaming and scanning that QR code or search KSDK in your app store.